So moving with cats can seem like a stressful and kind of daunting process, but it really doesn't have to be. In this video, I wanted to share with you some of the things that I did before my move, during my move, and then after my move to make it easier for my lady kitties to get used to the idea of moving and then to actually settle into my new house. So the biggest thing that's made a difference in the way I manage my cats has been having them crate trained. And I've spoken about this before. I know that it's not conventional wisdom, but it's really a fantastic habit to have, because anytime that you need to protect them in some way, take them somewhere, having them being used to being in the crate is already such a huge step. So the biggest thing when you're thinking about a move is getting them used to the crate. Now I have a video specific on crate training, but for the purpose of moving, what I would do is get them used to being in a crate, and if you have a very long move, purchase a larger crate, maybe more like a middle-size large dog crate, and get them used to being in there. So leave the door open, get them to go in and out, and then you can use that crate in your car when you are traveling. And it's great for when the movers come or friends come to come and help you move, because then you don't have to worry about kitty sneaking out or getting lost. And this happens all the time, and it's one of the major reasons why people actually lose their cats. And the majority of the cats who are lost during a move are usually never found again. So we definitely want to have a safe place for them, and having a crate is a good idea. But if you don't have the option of getting a big crate, then you definitely have to go with a smaller crate. First of all, make sure that it's airline approved if you're planning on flying, and then buy it as soon as you can and put it out and let your kitty get used to the crate, and let the crate take the smells of home. And what you can do to help that along, and then to help your kitty during the actual time when the kitty's going to be in the crate, getting moved to your new home together, is putting their favorite toy and putting their favorite blanket in the crate. It's really kind of a small thing, but it really helps them have the smells of home and of things that they love around them, and it helps calm them down a little bit. So what I did with this is I actually used my large dog crate on the 2 weekends before my move, when I was actually starting to move some of the smaller pieces from my old apartment to my new house. And when I was going in and out, I had Kitty stay in my dog's crate and just kind of chill in there. And they were actually fairly comfortable. They were used to being in there because the crate is always there, it's always open, and they got a chance to see what was going on. And when we were done moving things in and out of the apartment, then I could open the door and they could explore the apartment and go back to their favorite places. And their favorite places are actually the next thing you need to pay attention to. Make sure that the kitty furniture is the last thing that you're going to pack. Now, ideally, you want to make sure that you don't replace your kitty furniture before your move. So you want to make sure that you take, yes, your scratched up, ugly looking tree with you to your new house. And while for us it's, sometimes a little bit of an eyesore because we've been scratching it for years and we would like to buy something new, that cat tree actually has all of their smells of home, and cats have on their paws glands that release hormones so that they actually mark their territory that way. And so your house, your current house, is marked by the smell of your cats, and they've made it theirs. And taking that actually to your new house is very powerful, and it really will help them settle in. Now, sometimes this is impossible, especially if you're flying. So what you can do is actually take your cat tree apart and take some of the sections with you. I'm going to tell you, when I moved here, it was an international move that I did with cats, and I actually took one of the cat trees that I had homemade apart so that I could rebuild it in some way in my new apartment, and it was really, really helpful for my cats. What I did in this move is I actually had a brand new cat tree that was identical to my old one, and I mixed and matched the pieces so that when I rebuilt it in my new home before I moved the cats in, then I had one tree was made of pieces of the old one and pieces of the new one, and the other one as well. So their scent was everywhere, and yet they had some new scents that they could kind of conquer. And I know that some of us are going to eventually move by plane, and we don't really have the option of taking that much with us. But I'm going to tell you, this is so important that I would be willing to pay for an extra suitcase to take at least one piece of my cat tree with me should I move by plane again. And you also want to make sure that you're not going to wash any of your slip covers, any of your kitty's bedding or favorite blankets or favorite sleeping spots at least 3 weeks before your move. You want those to be dirty, but to have the smells of home. And then you want to pack them really well and take them to your new home and then lay them out before you release Kitty. It's going to make a huge difference because those have such powerful scents connected to them and in them, and they will make Kitty feel like she is at home and she can find some of her old places. It's a small thing and sometimes difficult because we want to go to a new house and we want everything to look new and beautiful, and we've been planning it maybe for a long time, but this is really a big deal. If you desperately want to change them because, they're old and not looking the greatest, I'm going to tell you to wait at least a month and possibly more. You're going to be able to tell by your kitty's reactions and the routines that reestablish when it's time to do so. And then you can slowly, one piece at a time, kind of replace them. And then, you'll be good. And this actually ties in to furniture, our furniture, okay? So we don't think of this very often, but because furniture is upholstered, that upholstery actually has a lot of the smells of home. Just like when we come home, sometimes we get a little bit of the scent of, whatever air freshener or potpourri or plants and flowers that we have in our apartment, and they smell kind of like home. And that's the same thing for your cat. So if you can, keep your old furniture and move it to your new place. If you can't, because I understand. I mean, I've had to move, by plane or had to move by car, and what fits, and there isn't any space for furniture. There's a couple of options of what you can do. If you are planning on keeping the same type of furniture, and I'm a fan of IKEA furniture just because IKEA is everywhere, so it doesn't matter where in the world I go, I can always find the same couch or at least the same pieces to put things together. I actually got a special slip cover for my couch, and when I move, I actually took the slip cover off, packed it up, and took it with me so that I could buy a brand new couch but still put my slip covers on. If you're planning on having completely different furniture, there's no way that you can take your old furniture with you. What you can do is actually use some old sheets and cover your old furniture for about 3 weeks before your move. When you are just about ready to move, go ahead and shake them outside because, we have cats. We've got fur everywhere. Shake them well outside. Don't wash them, okay? And fold them up, put them in your suitcase, and take them to your new house. And as soon as the furniture arrives in your new house, go ahead and cover your furniture with it. I already knew about this trick. I had used it before, and I've actually also used it when I go to, or used to before quarantine, go to Airbnbs and vacation houses. And I started with Iberia because she tends to have a little bit of separation anxiety. If these tips were helpful, please leave us a like. It's really, well, hey Mama, yeah, come and say hello then. Yeah. Ja. Oh, and if you find these tips helpful, please give us a like. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm, and leave us a comment and just write us something small about your cat. I'd love to hear some of your stories. So the next thing you want to pay attention to is your litter box. Now, ideally, you want to keep your old litter box and reuse it in your new house. And actually, it would be better if your litter was not brand new, but it was half used. So what I did is I have a deep clean routine so that I completely change my litter box and clean it every about 4 weeks. So I changed my litter box and completely deep clean it 2 weeks before my move, so that when it was time to move, I was about 2 weeks in. I use clumping litter so that I clean it every day, obviously, but the litter still kind of keeps a little bit of their scent, and the litter box still is not completely fresh and new. And I actually used and brought that litter box in my new house, and I set it down so that my kitties could find their old smells in their old litter box. Now, obviously, they're going to find it even if it's new, but it's just one of those small things that kind of makes them feel a little bit better. If you don't have that option, because sometimes in some moves, you just don't have that much space, go ahead and collect some of the unused clean litter from your cat's litter box and put it in a jar and just take the jar with you. When you're in your new house, then you can top dress the new litter box with the new litter that you set up and actually sprinkle the old one on top. It will have some of the old smells of home, and it will just help your cat get a sense that, this is our litter box. Again, it's not necessary, but it's just that one little step up that you can do. And all of these things that I'm sharing with you are, small little add-ons of things that you can do. But if you add one and then the other and then the other, they just kind of help your cat get over this really stressful time, which is, changing apartments. And the other thing that we obviously have to talk about is food. So obviously, no changing food before your move, no changing food after. So the ideal thing would be to have the same food that you're feeding before your move, feed it during your move, and then after. And actually, I would save your cat's favorite food, favorite treats for that time, that first 48 hours when you are in your new apartment and your cat is struggling the most. I mean, even my ladies, this was their third move with me, but they had actually been at friends' houses before because I wanted to get them used to new places a little bit. It was still a little bit stressful, and they really were not that hungry in the first 24 hours. So I pulled out all the stops, and I had already prepared their favorite rabbit meal, which is they just love it. And I fed that for the 2 weeks before and then the 2 weeks after our move. And I just didn't change anything because obviously, that cats really struggle with changes of food. They can be very picky and they can be very finicky, and we don't want to get into that. So if your cat has a favorite trait, then I would definitely employ it, but right after your move, right when things are a little bit stressful. So hack, if you don't have that option, there's actually a couple of hacks. So the first thing you can do is find out what kind of food you can find in your new location and buy it beforehand and transition your cat beforehand. I do have a video, I'll link it for you, where I talk about how to transition a cat from one food to the next. So that can be really helpful. If you don't have that option, the other thing that you can do is you can bring a huge bag of food with you. Again, this is something that I would do if I was moving internationally again, or far enough away where I would have to fly with my cat. I would definitely pay for the extra suitcase for a piece of the kitty tree and for a bag of food. And you want to make sure you have about a month, because it can take up to a month for a cat to get used to new food. So if you don't know what you're going to find and you have the ability to take the food with you, then that's what I would do. And let's go even a step further. So we talked about food, but there's this thing about water. Now, cats, are particular and they have a very well developed sense of smell. So what you can do is actually collect a bottle of water from home and pack it and take it with you. And when you are in your new apartment, then you can actually fill Kitty's water bowl with the old water. Again, it's not a huge thing, but it's just, again, that little bit of a step up that can really make the difference and can make Kitty feel more comfortable. And especially for cats who tend to not drink much anyway, it would be nice for them to have something where they feel comfortable to just go ahead and drink. So time in transport can also be very stressful. Now I'm going to tell you, the ideal thing would be to get your cat used to car trips. And I honestly have been struggling with this. So my ladies are completely crate trained. They eat in their crate every day. They go in willingly. They're happy to actually wait in there when they're hungry. They just go in. They just assume that food will come to them when they go in their crate. So it's a very good place. But one of my kitties, Britannia, she really struggles on car rides that are longer. And my current move, she only needed to be in the car for about a half hour, 40 minutes, but she got really, really stressed out even though it was that short. What you can do is to put a blanket that is both absorbent and waterproof underneath Kitty's crate when you're traveling. The best example is a picnic blanket. You can use it and put it under Kitty's crate, and it has an absorbent side which will really soak up any liquid should there be an accident, but it has a waterproof side that will save your seats. Now, when I first moved to Germany, this is actually what I did because I knew I had such a long ride and I figured that they would get a little bit stressed, and unfortunately Britannia, she gets car sick in the car. But I didn't do that on my move here, and I paid for it because I didn't realize that something had happened, and I went back into my car 2 days later and the smell was overwhelming, and I've been cleaning it ever since to get it off. So I don't want you to go through it. So even if Kitty is used to it, then use one of these blankets and save yourself and Kitty the headache. If you've been diligent and you've done all of these things, I'm going to tell you that the majority of the work is done. You now can concentrate on your own move and actually getting to your destination. And once you finally get into your home, there are several things that you need to do to set it up for your cats before you open the crate. The first thing you want to do is decide which room Kitty is going to be in at first. You want to get Kitty used to a space at a time. So what I did when I first got my lady kitties is I actually limited them to being in the bathroom. They lived in the bathroom for about a week because I wasn't sure if they would have accidents, and a bathroom is really easy to clean up. There's nothing can get soaked, and it's easy to disinfect should there be a problem. And from there, then I kind of open and let them go in the hallway, and then from the hallway to the main room, and then eventually their territory kind of expanded. And that's the same thing that you want to do. Once you have figured out where you're going to place Kitty, what you can do to give them, again, that little bit of a step up is using the Feliway diffuser. And it's really helpful in kind of taking the edge off and makes Kitty feel like they are home. So as soon as you get to your new apartment, then go ahead and go to your Kitty's designated home base and go ahead and plug in the diffuser. Then go ahead and set up your litter box in a place where it will be easy for Kitty to find. And then also go ahead and set up water bowl and kitty dish. Again, not close to the litter box. Cats really are clean. They don't like to have litter box and food next to each other. But if it's a small room, like if it's in a bathroom, you can keep them as far apart as possible. And then add kitty furniture. So if you can, add a cat scratcher or at least a section of it, and Kitty's favorite blanket and Kitty's favorite bed, basically anything that will have Kitty smell, and just kind of spread it around so that Kitty kind of comes out of the crate with a lot of new smells and a little bit of the stress of the move, but she can find all of her home smells and she can actually kind of use them to make herself feel more comfortable. So we want to do this for our kitties because when cats don't have familiar smells around, what they will do is they will use their own pee as a way of marking a territory and kind of signaling to the world that this is mine and I'm going to protect my territory and nobody mess with me. And we obviously don't want them to do that in the house. So putting their kitty furniture and their cat scratchers and all of the things that they know around them and kind of trying to saturate the space. And that's why having a smaller space like a bathroom or a small bedroom, possibly your bedroom, can be very helpful for them because the room gets quickly saturated with the smells of home and then it becomes a really comfortable home base. And that's it. Once you've done all of this, then you can just bring Kitty in her crate, put the crate down and go ahead and open it. Don't pull Kitty out, just let Kitty figure out what she wants to do and when she wants to come out, and make sure in these first couple of days before the move and then especially after the move that you kind of give Kitty a little bit more attention and pay attention to what she needs. Don't push her like to explore places or to get used to things, but also be there for her. So one of the things that I did it naturally, I didn't think of it, but it really was helpful, was my kitties have these catnip toys that they absolutely love that they play with all the time. And when I moved after my first day, when I saw that they were struggling a little bit, I thought let's give them something to play with. Cats are predators, and so they are most confident when they do what's natural to them, which is hunt. And the way we can replicate the hunt is play. So extra play sessions and maybe an extra toy, a little bit of catnip toy, if that's what they like, then that can be really helpful. Now, everything that I shared with you is for indoor cats. If you have indoor-outdoor cats, so cats that are used to going outside or that spend a lot of time outside, you want to be mindful of a couple of things. First of all, for the month before you move, get Kitty used to being in the house a lot more. And when you start to pack, it might be a good idea to stop letting Kitty go outside, because a lot of cats actually get lost because they get so stressed out by what's happening in the house that they go and hide outside, and then you can't find them anymore on the day of the move. And then a lot of cats will actually leave their new house and go back to their old house because they're so confused they want their territory back. So once you are in your new house, enlarge Kitty's territory one room at a time and don't really let Kitty go outside for at least the first month. And I can tell you, with my kitties, it's been a month, they're a lot more comfortable, but I can still see that there's some routines that really need to be reestablished and everything is still kind of new. So take your time, and then when it's time, go ahead and let Kitty out, but only for a short period, and slowly enlarge her territory and she will get used to your new home. If you're wondering how to crate train your cat, I have an awesome stress-free guide on how to do that. It's in this video. I have trained countless cats actually with this method, and it's super easy, stress-free, and cats really get used to the crate and really enjoy it. Thank you for watching us. Give your kitty a kiss from us, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye!